Well, here we are at the final chapter of the school year, chapter 10, and this is the first homework assignment in that chapter. Um, Today we talked about categorical data in class. Remember, categorical data is data that doesn't have a quantity attached to it, but it has a quality. It's in a certain category. So our two categories here are the Sunday paper, which I assume is delivered every Sunday, and then the weekly local paper. And that the weekly paper probably should be called the daily paper. I know that the Sacramento Bee, you can subscribe to it daily, or you can just get the weekly edition or the Sunday edition rather. Anyways, my the first thing they're asking us to do, and it's my first impulse when I see categorical data, is to create a two-way table. So you can see that our two categories are you're getting the weekly paper or you're not getting the weekly paper. You're getting the Sunday paper or you're not getting the Sunday paper. So there's two categories there. So I'll just put here weekly, and I'm going to put yes, you take that, and no, you do not. And then Sunday paper, yes, you receive that, and no, you do not. Now they give us a couple percents here. It says in a certain small town, 65% of the residents subscribe to the city's Sunday paper. So 65% get the Sunday paper. So what I'm going to do is way over here on Sunday paper, yes, I'm going to write 65%, and I'll write it as a decimal, 0.65. Um, and then they also say 37% subscribe to the local weekly paper. So, I just forgot that 37%. I'm sorry. I'm making you car sick here. So 37%, 0.37 get this paper. And then there's one other piece of information they give us. They tell us that 25% subscribe to both papers. So right here, I'm going to put 0.25. 25% subscribe to both. So a couple of things we're going to do is fill in the two-way table. For Sunday, yes. For Sunday, yes, we've got a 65%, but if you'll notice that it comes in two flavors. 25% is yes for weekly, and then if I add it up, these have to add up to 65%. Um, that would have to be what, 40%? So 40% would be no. So of those people that get the Sunday paper, 25% get the weekly paper, 40% do not get the weekly paper. And again, you can see that that's adding up to the 65% over here. Nice. If you look at going down, we're looking at weekly paper, yes. We know 25% get the Sunday paper, and that leaves us with 12% do not get it. So if I add those up, 25% and 12% is 37%. You can see I've got most of the information that I need now to fill things in, except there's one thing that you may not recognize is that down here in this lower corner, it has to be 100%. So I'll put here 100% is 1.0. So if this is 100%, the 65.65 plus something has to equal 1, and that should be 0.35. So 35% goes there. That means in the town, right, 35% of the people do not take the Sunday paper. 65 do, 35 do not. Again, these numbers have to add up. So if I'm looking at this 35 plus something has to equal 100%, 37 rather. So that would be not 63, I believe. Yeah, so 63% um, of the town do not take the weekly paper. And then there's one final thing, and I can get it both ways. It'll work both ways. I'll notice that the 40% plus some number has to equal 0.63. And that would have to be 23%, I believe, 0.23. I can erase that line. And also notice going this other way that the 12% and 23% is 35%. So those are all in agreement with each other. Now, what's nice about this two-way table is I can answer questions that are kind of difficult to answer unless I've got my data organized like this. And a Venn diagram is a good way to kind of organize categorical data like this, but I don't think it does anywhere near as good a job as this two-way table. So we did it says, what are the two variables? Well, that would be weekly and Sunday, and each category is weekly, yes, no, Sunday, yes, no. So there's our two-way table. Part B says, if a resident is selected at random, what is the probability he or she subscribes to at least one of the two papers? Okay, so our population here is the entire town, so I guess that's 100%. So at least one of the two papers. So that would look like this would be people that are subscribing to both papers. These are the people that are subscribing to the Sunday only paper. And right here, these are people that are subscribing to the weekly only paper. So if I combine those numbers, and since these are all percents, I should get the answer here. So I'm looking at 40% plus 25% plus 12%. So I think that's 77%. So it looks like 77%. If I select someone from this town at random, it looks like there's a 77% chance that that they will take one of the two papers. And I would like to be able to want to be able to erase those without messing up everything else. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit. Okay, yellow's gone, gone, and gone. Okay, so now that question B is answered, let's check C. It says Charlie's neighbor subscribes to a paper. Okay, he subscribes to a paper. What is the probability that he takes the Sunday paper? Charlie's neighbor subscribes to a paper. Well, if he's subscribing to a paper, that means we're talking about these people, right? All these people in this category, and there's no overlap in them. They're all taking a paper. So he has to be in that group. He's among those people. It says, what's the probability that he takes the Sunday paper? And there's two ways he could get the Sunday paper. He could get the Sunday paper with the weekly, or he could get the Sunday paper without. So what I'm thinking the probability is, and I'm just going to go ahead and write these as, since they're percents, I'm just going to say it's like they're 100 out of 100. So I'm going to say in my numerator, I've got 25 plus 40. That's people that take the Sunday paper, right? And we know that the population we're talking about is he's subscribing to a paper. So if he's subscribing to a paper, we know that he has to be in this group, right? 25 plus 40 plus 12. So if I'm looking at this correctly, the size of the group is 77. Oops, go away. The size of the group is 77, and the number of people that take the paper in that 77 is 65. So I believe the answer is 65 divided by 77.